believe it fell over as soon as I pushed the on button. Can we see? I had it perfectly set up. All right. I said I wasn't gonna do this, but I did anyway. I went out and chopped a couple branches with this knife, the Espada. So, relatively large branches, and quite thick too, and it was quite easy. Granted, the one thing that was really weird is when there is, of course, because it's a folding knife, there's always going to be a little play, even if it's the smallest amount of play. So when you chop, you really do feel that play a lot more in it. But it's very small. It's not really there. It can handle the abuse. It's just I'm used to fixed blade knives, so there's going to be these quirky things with these kind of folding knives that I'm not used to. And I compared it to the Kissaki. Just to compare the two, because there's so many similarities between the two designs, as you saw in the previous video, but at the same time they are very different, and the reach and extent of this really does allow it to have some very good chopping power. But it is super thin, you know, like this hollow grind right here is really quite thin for my taste, but it does allow a good bite into the wood. This one you need to swing a little harder to compensate for there are so many bugs here. This one you do need to hit a little harder to compensate for the lack of length. But again, what is this? Is two different. This is a medium length knife. It doesn't look like it, but it's very, very small. So, you know, oops, I missed. So it can chop pretty good, especially for a medium-sized blade. But I don't know how this one fell off the... This one does chop too, very, very good too. This is a very nice chopper. But as you can see, 2 blows. Let's see if we can do it in 1 blow. Even this doesn't go in 1 blow. So, but for cutting branches straight off the tree, man, it's really, really quite good. Next time we do something like this, I'm going to tighten the knot here a little bit just to see if the play is just not something that's it's so tiny, the play. I mean, it's like the expected type of play out of a... It doesn't play enough. Well, it does to touch one side a little bit. So, but it holds together. And you know, generally folding knives are not really always see, it's not like it does the job. It's got the length. And even though it weighs half a kilo, when you start swinging around, you realize like it actually feels a lot lighter than that. But again, let's go back to this one. Oops. Ooh. So the Kissaki does actually chop a little bit better. But I mean, why is that? It's all the weight is right here. You got a good grip there. But generally choppers are much longer. So it does chop a tiny bit better. than the Espada. But granted, I don't think the Espada was really ever designed for that. Whereas this is. And this is also supposed to be significantly smaller. But, man, this is a flipping good fucking knife. Yeah, it's, you know, I'll put it this way, it's better than most options. And, you know, also remember, like, it's nice that it can actually do these things for, you know, especially because it's, at least on Lumnia, it's a $500 knife. So it's really nice that this folding knife can actually compete with something like this in this scale. And again, it goes back to what I was talking about in the previous video with how similar these two knives actually are. You can even see the curvature here is the same. So when you look at it for just long enough, you see that they're very, very similar blades. We have another branch here, actually. I should have put my other hat on. I was stuck in the car for driving for 3 hours today, and there's no air conditioning. It was flipping hot, so even before this video started, I had like a thin film layer of sweat all over my body, so excuse me if I feel like ripping my clothes off and jumping into the lake. Let's see. So when it comes to like basic stripping, yeah, and I said I wasn't going to do this because I wanted to keep the factory edge on there. The factory edge is, you can't complain about it. I mean, with everything else you got on this, I don't think you would expect a hand-finished edge, to be honest. And I think this like machine edge that it has is very nice out of the box. The edge on this Espada that I got for 80 bucks secondhand, that had basically never been used, was significantly better than the edge out of the box of a brand new cold steel holdout, the large holdout that I have indoors. So that's very interesting. I need to look into that a little bit, because that's sort of a variance issue. That's like, you know, I don't know how they sharpen their edges. I don't know who does it. I don't know who did mine. But yeah, like, look, if you're looking for a one knife that does it all, this is not a bad option, especially if cold steel, I don't know if they do this, they probably do, if there is a warranty, a lifetime kind of warranty on this thing. So if you do manage to break it, you can get it swapped. If they do have that, then, you know, that's really good. Because then you can actually do this, like, abuse the fuck out of it. And this is not really abuse. This is like, you should expect minimum this, what I'm doing, out of a knife like this for this price, right? If it can't do what, you know, everything that this is designed to do, then what's the point of buying this knife? Because then it's only focused for one thing that most people will never encounter, you know, violence. But when the branches are a certain thickness, this is really, really quite nice. When they reach a certain other thickness, when it starts to get chunky like that, then that's when it starts to slow down a little bit, and that's when it becomes less impressive. But it's by no means like, it's by no means that went a little bit like halfway through. Yep, missed. Oops. I'm not as accurate with this chopper, but 2-3 hits to get through this with a folding knife. So, I mean, this is really weird to me. I mean, it's the same with all folding knives. I think this is just out the box. Like, when you hit, you do feel the blade wanting to go with a tiny little twist. But I think that's completely normal. I don't really, this is the same with the holdout, but the holdout has a slightly different shape where the twisting doesn't have such a significant effect, right? If the blade is really tall and it twists, and you have nothing to prevent it from twisting, then it's difficult to kind of keep it in track. But in this case, it's not the handle. The handle is perfectly fine. In fact, it's better than perfectly fine. It's just that because it's a folding knife, you have a tiny little bit of twist. So when you go down, what it might want to do, it does this like 0.5% of a flex of an angle towards one direction. And so it's going to it's going to kind of move the blade, move the handle as well, even though everything is perfect. If this was a fixed blade, it would be down. They should do a fixed blade, Espada, with a blade this freaking long, same exact handle. Or maybe they should do an Espada that's like twice as long, but then you have that Yorick Sprav thing where you pull out this lever from inside that actually covers the whole blade. Now that would be badass. So I'm gonna do another one of these chops. I think when it's so close to the edge there, we might be able to get it through in one shot. Ah, miss. Ah, miss. It doesn't go through in one shot. It doesn't go through in one shot. But neither does the Kissaki when it's this thick. That's more than halfway through. So yeah. It's pretty obvious which one's a better chopper. But again, if you have a 12-hour day where you're doing this kind of task, at the end of the day, I think you'd be totally fine with both. In fact, I don't think you'd have any issues with either one of them. Like, the fact that this kind of design can even keep up is what is absolutely amazing about this blade. So I had a good look at the edge. It shouldn't have any, it's still completely out the box sharp. There shouldn't be any issues there. If my steel can handle all this for days, then this steel should have no problem at all whatsoever. And I was thinking, let's see, should we do a bit more branch? You see, when your hand is very close to the blade, it's a little easier to guide it through where you want it to, you know? So, but I don't want to use this one because I know that one's good for it. I want to show you guys how good that one is. See, it's, again, it's not like a chopper. It's a fighting knife. I think that's the whole point. Beautiful. So, where'd it go? I was thinking, I think you guys can see lol, I accidentally cut the string on the way out. I'm gonna have to look into that. But this caught on the inside of my pants when I pulled it up, so. This is basically for removing branches. Oh, it's sharp. But even this, you know, it's pretty darn good chopper. I think the cold steel Espada should be better at this than going through this thickness at the base of the branch, but we'll see. Let's do that again. I missed a couple shots. One of those hits went almost all the way through. So, and again, this is half the weight. I think we'll be honest there, and it's about 4. I think I could do it in 3, and I could do it in 2, but twice in a row we did it, and it took 4 hits both times. And mind you, it's 250 grams. See, it actually did that twisting thing there. Hold on, this is not a good... Hold on, this is not a good example. Hold on, this was a bad example. There we go, let's go a little bit lower. This was refresh. This doesn't count, this shit that we just did. Yeah, I mean all right, let's do it again, because okay, let's do it at least twice. I'm trying to get it through in 2 shots. And again, this here is hitting, this is hitting the stomp a little bit, so it might be blocking part of the penetration. Well, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you like this kind of content. I gotta pick up the phone and I gotta get back to work.